ever wondered why a bride wears a veil or how a something borrowed has become a wedding day must-have? Well, I've rounded up the most common and surprising wedding superstitions and traditions and the reasons behind them. So, it's me again, Jacqueline, and today is another exciting learning episode about wedding traditions which you are bound to hear throughout the planning process. But before that, please don't forget to subscribe on my channel, like and share, and we will learn together. As you plan your wedding, there are so many things you'll be told to have to do. But the truth is, your big day is just not yours. While we're firm believers that you definitely don't have to wear white, have bridesmaids, or cut a towering cake during the reception. Marriage ceremonies are steeped in history, and with so many cultures, religions, regions, couples adding their own customs to the mix, it should come as no surprise that wedding-related traditions and superstitions began to emerge over the years. What might surprise you is that many are still followed today. While it's entirely up to you whether or not you embrace them for your own big day, most are at least worth considering. From the bizarre to spooky, we're demystifying the most popular wedding superstitions and practices and sharing their origins. Number 1. In Italy, many newlyweds smash a vase or glass at their wedding, and they put a lot of muscle into it too. The tradition says that however many pieces the glassware breaks into will symbolize how many years they'll be happily married. Plate smashing is a Greek custom that symbolized new beginnings. It means that the couple is throwing away their old life and embarking on a new life together. And of course, it's fun. Number 2. Beating the groom's feet in South Korea. Following their wedding ceremonies, some South Korean grooms are subjected to a certain ritual before they can leave with their new wives. His groomsmen or family members remove the groom's shoes and bind his ankles with rope before taking turns to beat his feet with a stick, or, in some cases, a dried fish. Though obviously painful, the ritual is over quickly and meant to be more amusing than an act of punishment. And apparently, as the groom is often quizzed and questioned during the act, the beating of feet is meant as a test of the newly wedded husband's strength and character. Number 3. In Scotland, they have the so-called blackening. It is taking a stag and hen traditions to the extreme. In parts of Scotland, usually in the Orkney Islands, Fife, Aberdeenshire, and Angus, grooms and brides-to-be are subjected to a particularly grimy ritual known as blackening, usually taking place the day before a wedding. Blackening involves the bride or the groom's friends sizing the soon-to-be wed and covering them in a mixture of treacle, soot, feathers, and flour before noisily parading them through the streets. According to the University of Highlands and Islands in Inverness, the tradition is carried out to ward off evil spirits. Number 4. In Congo, no smiles for the Congolese couples. For most, their wedding day is the happiest day of their lives, and they brim with happiness. Well, not the Congolese. Marriage is considered a very serious affair. Therefore, from the ceremony all the way through the reception, the bride and groom are not allowed to smile. If they do, it would mean that they weren't taking their marriage serious enough. And number 5. In China, the crying ritual. Weddings are often an emotional affair, but in certain parts of China, Crying is a required part of preparation for marriage. A month before their forthcoming nuptials, Tujia brides will cry hour each day. 10 days into the ritual, the bride is joined by her mother, and 10 days after that, the bride's grandmother joins the weeping duo, and eventually, other female family members will join in the cacophony of crying, termed Zhu Tang, in the western Sichuan province. The ritual is said to date back to China's Warring States era, when the mother of a Zhao princess broke down in tears at her wedding. Number 6. In Sweden, you may all kiss the bride. In many Western weddings, the immortal words, "You may now kiss the bride," signifies the sealing of the couple's vows with a kiss. But in Sweden, the kissing ritual is taken to a whole other level. At the wedding reception of newlywed Swedish couples, if the groom should leave the room, the male guests of the bridal party are permitted to kiss the bride. Similarly, if the bride leaves the party, female guests will hone in to kiss the groom. You just have to make sure you are not the jealous type to marry a Swedish. Number 7. Banging on the first wedding night in France. This is not the kind of banging you expect on the first night of your wedding. Family and friends gather outside the house of the newlyweds and start banging on pots and pans. What's more, the couple has to serve them drinks and snacks. This old-age French tradition is known as charivari. Number 8. No bathroom for 3 days. A wedding ritual followed in Borneo. Newlyweds of Tidong tribe are married with their respective tribal traditions and rituals. For some illogical reason, they believe that refreshing yourself with the bowel system and the urine may bring an unhappy marriage, infertility, or death of the children once they are born. They also believe that forcing them to hold their bladders and poop for 3 days will strengthen the bond between the couple. After the 3 deadly ritual is over, the couple is allowed to attend their natural calls, which is followed by the world's most satiating bath. Number 9. Bridal ransom in Russian wedding. In Russia, the groom comes up at the bride's place prior to the wedding and requests his dearest with his bridal ransom or vikap nevesti. As a wedding tradition, the bride's family along with her friends will turn down the groom unless he pays up in gifts, money, or plain embarrassments. Grooms are required to do ridiculous movements, results riddles, and a lot of hilarious things you can imagine. When the groom wins over her family and friends, he is then permitted to meet up with the bride-to-be. And number 10, a shower of rice in the Philippines. Grains of rice are thrown over newlyweds as they exit from the church, symbolizing bounty and rain, commonly read as a sign of good blessings. In some regions, the newlyweds go through another rice shower upon entering the threshold of their new home or the reception venue. Rice is one of the foremost crop staples in the Philippines and holds a sacred status. Weddings in ancient times were officiated by the priestesses, holding the couple's joined hands over a mound of rice grains, which were later cooked and eaten by the newlyweds as their first shared meal. That's all for now. See you in my next video where you will be amazed and say, Eureka!